What if I told you that most factories lose thousands, if not millions, of dollars every year due to waste? It's not due to bad machines, it's not due to bad employees, and it's not just trash lying around. It's just hidden inefficiencies in everyday processes. Today we're going to break down lean manufacturing in the simplest way possible. It's the reason why companies, especially those that you apply to, are so keen upon it. It is such simple ideology and simple tasks that people mess up every single day. Finding those inefficiencies and getting rid of them are what can take your company from good to great. Hi, my name is Joshua. I've been working in the engineering field for over 10 years. I've been in the manufacturing field since 2012. If you're new here to the channel, this is going to be all about lean manufacturing, learning practices, growing, lessons learned, and how to go about making everyday life better in your company. It is a very hot topic that everyone is looking to in the manufacturing field. So if you work in manufacturing, you've probably heard of lean. And if you want to learn more, this is the channel to do it. We're going to start out simple, and we're going to grow into more complicated scenarios and situations. I hope that the lessons that I have learned in lean will help you grow into something even more. And I hope that it helps elevate your company into something even more. Lean is something that can be used in everyday practices. Whether you're a one-person op or a 10,000 person company, there's always inefficiencies that can be cut. What is lean? Lean manufacturing is a system focused on maximizing customer value while reducing waste. The goal is simple: deliver better quality, faster, cheaper, with less wasted effort. Now, when people hear the word waste, usually you think of garbage. You think of a trash can, scrap material. That's usually what you think. But in lean, waste means any activity that does not add value. Waste can be waiting, walking, extra movement, overproduction, defects, excess inventory, and unnecessary processing. Lean asks one very important question: would the customer pay for this? And if that answer is no, then it's probably waste. Where did lean come from? Lean came from TPS, the Toyota Production System. After World War II, Toyota couldn't compare with the gigantic American companies and the massive amounts of product that we were able to output. So because of that, they wanted to design a system that could compete with us. They didn't have endless money. They didn't have endless storage, and they couldn't afford waste. So Toyota engineers created and designed systems around inefficiencies and continuous improvement. Instead of creating massive quantities of product, what Toyota decided to do was they were going to make just what the customer needed, specifically when the customer needed, and they decided to create product just in time, which became just-in-time manufacturing. Because of this, the world started seeing that Toyota was producing higher quality product at lower cost with faster delivery times. That is when lean manufacturing spread across the globe. In lean, there are a total of 8 wastes. The 8 wastes are defects, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent, transportation, inventory, motion, and extra processing. Going through each and every single one of them. Defects is very simple and probably one of the easiest ones to tell. You have a product, you build it, and all of a sudden, oh hey, there might be a scratch on the product. It's a product that can't have any scratches, so you get a defect. So you end up tossing the defect away. Well, over time, because you have to throw that defect away, you have to remake that product. You either have to remake the product or rework the product. Well, that takes time. That's time that shouldn't have had to been spent on that one part. However, it was. So what caused that scratch? How do you resolve the issue to make sure that doesn't happen again, so you don't waste precious time reworking or remaking that part due to that defect? Overproduction. Overproduction is one that a lot of people don't think about, but when you make a whole bunch of products and you're holding on to them and they have nowhere to go, they're just taking up space. They're truly not making you money. You haven't sold them yet. Because you haven't sold them, they're just sitting there. You put time, effort, energy, and money into those products, but you haven't sold them. So there's nowhere to go. So when you overproduce, you are wasting resources because you truly don't know if you're going to sell that product. Waiting. Waiting is a big one. Waiting can add seconds to the day and cause problems all throughout the day because you're waiting on a product. Time adds up. And the more that your operators have to wait to get parts or to run their process, you're wasting precious seconds, precious time. You don't really see it and you may not notice it right away, but it eventually ends up adding up. And we'll discuss that in the next section. Non-utilized talents. This is a major one. You can have unbelievably good employees. Every single person has their strengths and their weaknesses. Those strengths and weaknesses can be used effectively in each and every company. I truly believe that it is the job of the management team to look at the people underneath them, train them to grow into management places, and then also learn what their strengths and weaknesses are to help utilize their efficiencies and their growths in the company. If you have people that don't enjoy what they're doing or don't excel in what they're doing, they are going to be slower at it. They are going to have more problems with it. They are going to unintentionally create waste and create downtime, potentially defects. Another form of waste is transportation. Every single time you have to move a product from one location to another, or from one side of the facility to the other, or even going from 10 feet to go grab your part 10 feet away, you are creating waste because you're having to go do something. Instead of the product being pulled and brought to you, or making an assembly line where everything gets built together very quickly, you will create waste in transportation. If you or your operator has to go and actually do movement, they are going to create waste. Another form of waste is inventory. Holding on to additional pieces or holding on to product will create waste. If you don't have a massive company or you haven't seen financials in company, every single year you've probably done an inventory. When you count inventory, a lot of times you are paying taxes on those products. You have to count, make sure you have everything collected, and then you pay taxes on that. Holding excess amount of product years upon years, or holding product for a year, you're going to pay money, and it's a waste because if you didn't have that inventory in your hands, you wouldn't have had to pay that money. So inventory can be a massive form of waste, especially with the financial side. Motion. Now, motion is slightly different than transportation. Motion can be when you're standing in one location and then you have to turn, take a few steps, and move to a secondary location. Or if you have to go and collect a part, normally you stand in this spot, but you have to go 3 feet that way to grab your part, to then place it on your station, then 3 feet that way to grab your part, to then bring it back to your station, when the parts could have been within arm's reach of each other. And if they're in arm's reach, besides being 3 feet that way or 3 feet that way, you can reduce a lot of motion waste. The final form of waste is extra processing. For instance, doing additional inspection steps that the customer's not going to pay for. You decide, hey, you know what? I need to do a secondary, third, fourth check on a product. There are some checks that customers will pay for. For instance, Okay, I'm going to sell a hose. I don't want that hose to leak. I'm going to run water through that hose to make sure that it doesn't leak, because the customer is paying for a hose that shouldn't leak. Now, if I go, oh, hey, you know what? I need to do a check on this hose to make sure that the color on the outside is right and that it didn't change throughout the hose. Now, that is an unnecessary step. That's extra process that doesn't need to happen. If you're doing extra steps that the customer is not specifically paying you for, and that comes to extra quality checks, you are creating waste. You will create waste inside your facility by doing that. All right, real world practice time. Josh, where would I even see this? Where would I even use this? Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a worker who works in assemblies. They have to walk 10 feet to go grab a product. They then have to bring the product back. Then they need to turn for additional material, let's say screws. They have to bend over to go grab a piece of foam or tape that also goes on that part. They load it, but then they have to wait also on the operator next to them to finish their subassembly to give to them so they can get it done. That time ends up adding up. To make it easy for you, let's say you waste 1 second a minute. Well, that turns into 1 minute an hour, which turns into 8 minutes a day, which then turns into 40 minutes a week. If you take that and you multiply that by 52 weeks, that turns into 35 hours a year. That's almost a week of lost production time for 1 second a minute. 1 second. That's all it took. It took 1 second and you lost a whole week of worth. And guess what? That's per operator. So if you had one operator, you lost a week's worth of work. If you have 52 operators, you lost a year worth of work. You get how important this is now? You see why companies are so enthralled with lean manufacturing? It's because it is such a valuable tool. If you can learn how to reduce it by 1 second a minute, you can use this calculation to prove out that you saved your company 35 hours of work a year. That is so amazing, important, and critical. And I can tell you, you did not realize that until I told you, until I did the math to show you. You can do the math yourself, and you'll see, oh crap, we're wasting a lot of time. We're wasting, every second counts. And that's true. Every second counts. Now you're understanding a lot of the importance of lean. If you like this, subscribe, hit a comment, let me know. I will continue to work on posting lean ideology, lean examples, and trying to help you understand what lean is, how to use it effectively, how to use it efficiently, and how to use it to help you excel in your company. If you want to, I am going to have a link in my bio that is going to lead to another location where I will go in depth even more than what I do here, and I will help discuss with any of your real world problems. If you have any help that you need, I would love to help out. All you have to do is hit the link in my description, follow it, join the group, and it will be great seeing you there. Welcome to the Lean Team.